CJ will come to you tonight on September 16th, 2024. I hope everybody's doing great out there tonight. Well, we got a brand new concept for you guys. Okay, we got the government, we got Joe Biden, we got Kamala Harris out here, and they're trying to give everybody money. We're going to give illegals a bunch of money, and, because we want them to vote for us. We're going to get rid of student loans, pay those off, so those people vote for us. We're going to give people $25,000 for a down payment on the house, so they'll vote for us. And we're going to give everybody all this money, so they will vote for us. This used to be called pandering. This used to be against the law. You couldn't give people money because, if the administration running the government gives everybody a bunch of money, then basically it's like bribing people to get your vote, right? To get their vote. Okay. So if the government can use my money to pay people off so they get the votes of the people that they're paying off with my money, then why can't I buy somebody else's vote, right? I know a lot of kids right now that's old enough to vote, 18, 19, 20 years old, that could care less about politics, but I'm sure they wouldn't mind going and voting for my candidate. I'll give them $50 to go up here and vote for the person that I want to be in office. Now, I'm pretty sure if it comes down to it, they'll probably say this is illegal. Well, then how come the government can use my money and give it away to people to buy their votes, but now when I want to go out here and give a bunch of kids that could care less about politics, and I'll say, well, I know you don't care about politics, but I'll give you $25, $50 to go up here and pay the vote for the person that I want in, because I do care about politics, and you don't really care about politics. And since I do and you don't, I'll give you the $25, $50 so you go vote for my candidate. What's the difference here? If the government giving away my money so the current government in office can get votes from those people, if that's called a democracy, then it should also be a democracy when I do it myself out here in the wild here among the people, right? And then what you'll get is the candidates will come up, or, the government, the Biden-Harris administration will come up and they'll say, well, we're not giving it to people, so they will vote for us. These are investments in the community and the society. Well, you know what? You got your way of investing in the community, into society, and the country, and I got my way of investing in the community and society. You work for me, and that means that if anybody has more rights and more privileges and more power to do something in the election, then it would be me, not you, because you work for me. I'm the boss. The boss has the most privileges, not the worker, not the employee. So if Biden and Harris want to pay off everybody to get the votes, right? Hundreds of billions of dollars. I would not be surprised when we do the math later. Right now they're probably going to say, oh, it's, $300 or $400, $500 billion that we're giving out to all these illegals and flying them in and giving them housing and everything. The whole deal. That the past 4 years we probably spent, I don't know, probably $1 trillion with everything they've done, with the tens of millions of people that they're giving money to and buying off and providing everything for. It was just one NGO a few months back that got $75 billion. One NGO, the government gave them $75 billion to resettle migrants coming into our country. And we know that there's hundreds, if not thousands, of these NGOs out here doing this. So here's how it always works. See, they come in and they say, well, we spent $1 trillion. They won't even admit to this. They'll probably say something like $400 billion over, the whole 4 years, which is total poppycock. And then we'll find out, well, really it was $1 trillion over the last 4 years. And then in about 3 or 4 years, when all the accounting's finally done and everything's added up, it's probably going to be $2 or $3 trillion. So I think we need to get this hashtag going. Buy a vote, right? If the Biden-Harris administration can buy a vote, then I should be able to buy a vote too, right? It's in my best interest. I feel like it's in my best interest to go out here and buy votes so my candidate can get in and my way of life and my prosperity can be increased. And that's, and therefore, not only is my prosperity and my standard of living going to be increased, but so will society. So it's not like I'm doing this just for my own personal gain. I want everybody to gain. And that's what the government's trying to tell us when they're giving our money away, that this is going to benefit society, that this is going to raise the standard of everybody's living. This is going to give everybody more prosperity. And we know, we've been hearing this for 25, 30 years now since the border's been open. Well, how's that working out for everybody? Let's go look at the records. Let's go look at all the financial records and the situation of everybody. And over the last 25 years that the border's been wide open and we brought in, 50 or 60 million illegal immigrants into our country, and we look at where we are financially today, are we better off than we were 4 years ago? No. Are we better off than we were 8 years ago? No. Are we better off than we were 12 years ago? No. Are we better off than we were 16 years ago? No. Are we better off today than we were 20 years ago? No. So I say, if you're somebody and you got a few kids that's 18 years old and they probably don't give a squat, you know, they're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old and they haven't been in the workforce yet. Well, I tell you what, kids, you can make an easy $50 today. You just, each one of you go up here to the voting place with me. You go in the voting booth and you take a picture of your ballot before you turn it in so I can see that you voted for my guy, and I'll give you the $50. Now, I think a couple elections ago when we went to the voting place, I think they had a little sign there that said, you can't take a picture of your ballot. Bullshit. When I go to the store, can I get a receipt? Can I take a picture of my receipt that I got at the store? Well, you're damn right I can. Well, see, at the voting place, I don't get a damn receipt. All I get is a little I voted sticker. That don't tell me nothing. You know why? I mean, everybody goes online all over the place and lets it widely be known who they're going to vote for, how they lean politically, but it's so personal. Yeah, it used to be personal before the government got into everybody's personal lives. See, in the old days, people didn't really, you know, say 40 years ago, people wasn't really interested that much in how you were going to be voting because the government wasn't dead into every part of your freaking life, right? So nobody really cared. Everybody just sort of kept it to themselves. You know, you didn't have a radical communist on each side of the aisle. You had constitutional-minded politicians that, for the most part, went by the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the land. And there wasn't a wide variation. Yeah, you had the extremes, but the extremes nowadays, you know, say back then you had a 2-lane highway. Now you got a 12-lane highway, see? And now there's a lot of room in between those guardrails, and we got these very extreme right and left lanes here that people can go in for some reason, you know, even though these lanes, 8 lanes outside of the Constitution, and all these things are pushing for, like Joey Biden and Kamala Harris, and open borders and giving money out to everybody and buying votes. Every bit of this is unconstitutional, and we didn't have that back then. And the government wasn't into if you got a fever and how much you owe here and where you're spending the money and did you pay your child support and all this crap right back then. You know, what are you doing with your kids and this, that, and the other. See, the government wasn't, you know, on our hip, in our back pocket every second of the day trying to find out and figure out and tell us what the hell to do. So they weren't in our personal lives, and we knew that one of the two candidates might have, you know, back in the day, might have a little bit of extreme position, but nothing like today. And so therefore, it didn't, you know, compared to today, you know, both of the candidates 40 years ago was basically like a right-wing candidate today. But, you know, both candidates back then, if you would have took in the variation of the extremities between the two, it was like having a right-wing Republican. No matter which one you got. One was just a little less right-wing Republican compared to today because everything's gone totally lefty, totally communist. And so nobody cared how people voted. But now, since the government's in everybody's lives and everybody's scared to death that the government's going to do something or not do something, or you know, all this crap they want to do, and then if you're not on board, well, you've been told that, you know, to the people that support the communists, you know, if you don't want to go along with the communism, now you're a life wrecker, you're a selfish son of a bitch, you're a murderer, you're you know, someone that wants to murder women because you don't want to let them go murder kids, and just all this extreme bullshit. And that's why everybody's gladly wanting to know. You know, I'm anxious to know, how are you going to vote? Yeah, I got a country to save. I want to turn this country into a communist country so I can have the good life. You know, like these people, the media, the communists, the mainstream media, the talking heads, the government, everybody's convinced a bunch of people that communism is fun and great and lovely and wonderful and a very good life and a very good retirement later on. Like, you know, hey, now you're going to be able to retire at 60 years old and travel the world and go to Disney World once a year and all this crap. Like, you're just going to have all this freedom and prosperity and all this, and we know it's bullcrap. But they talked all these people into, you know, if we don't get the communism in, then your whole world's going to collapse. And then the people that are against communism, that want freedom and liberty and rule of law and all this stuff, well, we're trying like hell to convince the communists that you're just a bunch of suckers, you're just a bunch of liars. The people are lying to you when they're telling you all this stuff about communism. And by the way, they're going to, you know, tell you that it's sort of communism behind closed doors, but then when they get out here in front of the news camera and in front of everybody, now they got to change their story and their beliefs and say they reject communism and all this stuff when they really don't. And then you believe, they actually make you believe, because you haven't been on the scene long enough to know what's really going on in politics. You don't know the whole, you know, history of the lies and all this crap, right? And you can't see through it, you know. At first you might have, you know, when you start wanting to know, you know, let's say you're 22 years old and now in the last month or two you've got where you all of a sudden care about the political scene here, and now you started looking back and you've seen a couple of things where Kamala Harris said some things that were totally communist in nature, but now she's changed her tune over the last month or two And she's actually talked you into believing that she doesn't believe in those things anymore. And you believe her like an idiot. Even though she's had these views for years and years and even over a decade. But now all of a sudden she's flipped. She's seen the light, right? Don't fall for it, guys. So I guess we need to come up with a campaign. Buy a vote. That's it. Can I buy a vote? Let's go down here to all the public schools and get up all the 18, 19-year-olds down here at the high school. And we know damn well they're not interested in politics at all, and say, hey, you know what? Well, we got, out of this high school down here, we got 800 kids, and we got 200 of them, or we'll say 150, out of all the people, the seniors. We got 800 people, and 250 of them are seniors, and 150 out of those 250 are voting age, and there's probably going to be about 120 out of the 150 that don't care nothing about politics, and they're not going to go vote, but we can give you $50 if you go up here and vote with us today. Easy $50. What's the difference? What's the difference in that and Joe Biden giving 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32-year-olds and, paying off their $70, $80, $90, $100, $120,000 college loan debt? What's the difference in them giving them that money to gain favor and buy their vote, and me going out here and saying, hey, you know what, I'll give you $50 if you go vote, because you really don't care about voting, but I got $50 if you come vote for my guy. What is the difference here? There's no difference. There's no difference at all. Because it all comes down to the money. See, we can buy votes cheaper than the Communist Democrats can buy votes. Because if you tell the college kid, hey, you know what, I'll knock $100 off your student loan vote if you go vote for us, well, they're probably not going to go vote. That ain't enough money. But to an 18, 19, 20-year-old that, just got out of high school or, peddling around out here, don't even want to go to college, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to go vote for $50. So, I guess YouTube will probably strike this video because I say, oh, this is unlawful. No, this is all sarcasm, guys. I'm not telling people to go out here and bribe kids to vote, like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris does. I'm not telling people to do that. How about that? Does that make it better, YouTube? A bunch of communist dicks. All right, that's what I got for you on this one, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. God bless and take care of yourself. And don't forget, vote Trump 2024. Let's eviscerate these communists. And we got to go vote on a state and local level. And we got to get rid of all these criminals out of our office. Because our small towns, we can't handle, 20,000 people. I mean, our little town down here, we couldn't even handle 5,000 people getting dropped off down here. It would be total mayhem. And we can't afford this. We can't do this. This is upsetting. This is ruining our country. Not saying the people are bad. They're just not from here. They don't know the language. They don't know the money system. They don't know the work system. They don't know the merit system. They don't know all these things. They don't know the laws. They don't know the political system. They don't know how to drive and this and that and the other and everything you can say. It's not their fault, but it's not my fault either. And so I shouldn't be penalized heavily, me and my family and my neighbors, because the government took it upon themselves to go bring a bunch of people here and drop them off and give them a bunch of money in order to buy votes from them. All right, that's what I got for you. We'll see you on the next one. God bless and take care of yourself. You've been listening to the CJ Real Show.